So we're here today along Highway 120, which is also known as the road to Yosemite. Millions of people travel this route on the way to the park every year, but few people know the dark and often violent history of this road to the National Park Service's crown jewel. And we're going to start our journey today just up the mountain with our historian, Bear Unruh.
Now, on your way into Yosemite, the first town you're going to hit is Big Oak Flats, which is where we are right now. Big Oak Flats was named after a big oak tree and the fact that the land was pretty flat. Before that, it was known as Camp Savage. This is named after Major Savage, but maybe Camp Savage was a far better name. See, Major Savage had 5 Native American wives. He was known as a white man who was a chief of a tribe of Indians. That's 1850s talk for bigamist with lots of wives and kids. Now, this town was ironically named Big Oak Flats because when the miners moved in, they dug tunnels under every part of town except for this building right here, which is the Gamble Wells Fargo building. The only reason this building wasn't dug under was because, violators were going to be shot. You don't want to be shot by Wells Fargo. So that caused all of the land to no longer be flat, and it killed the titular tree that was growing in the center of town. Very, very rough and rowdy place to live.
Let's continue our journey a few miles east in Groveland.
Groveland might sound like a nice, peaceful town, but that's until you find out that the town used to be called Garrote, which is Spanish for hanging. Now that's literal here, due to an incident before they named the town where they hung a horse thief. Now, in this case, the guy was guilty of sin, but most of the time, it wasn't necessarily a trial. Now, in the 1850s, the population of the town swelled to 10,000, or around there. And there were more brothels, saloons, and dens where no civilized person would want to be found than there were homes in the city. One of these saloons that I just mentioned is the Iron Door Saloon, which is not only still there, it is still being run. It is the longest running saloon in California. It was established in 1852. And the original iron doors are still hanging in the saloon. Getting tired of being known for all these hangings, Garrote moved to Second Garrote. But the name still kind of stuck around for 10 years before they decided to change it to Groveland and try to rebrand themselves as a different, more family-friendly place.
The last stop on our Highway 120 tour, Second Garrote.
Second Garrote is just down the road from First Garrote. The reason the town moved to this location was because of the many, many hangings, which is also how the town got its name. Behind me here, you'll see the remnants of the old oak tree that was used for these hangings. There are over 60 hangings in the area. Those are just the confirmed ones of people that made it to trial. That's not counting any lynch mobs or any of that. One of the non-hanging people connections to this location is that the American poet and author Bret Harte stayed in the area, and he penned such things as the Tennessee Partners. Now, while he was here, he had other activities besides writing and making poems. He was into, womanizing, gambling, drinking, the 3 biggest American pastimes throughout history. Now, as I mentioned, this place was used for hangings, like at this tree. Well, the townspeople had this habit of letting them hang until the wild animals took them down. So that means that if you're traveling from San Francisco, you'd have to come right through this stretch of land, past these bodies, and it was just a big contrast to the civility and the gentry of the Bay as opposed to the savagery out here in the frontier.
So the next time you're on your way to Yosemite, or any other magnificent place for that matter, stop and think for a minute. What history, what dark history, lies just beneath the surface? This is Shannon Polliger for Underbelly International.